shift, base hit, neck snap, true talk, no fluff, heat rise, act up, snap tight, step clean, eyes lock, scene mean, just Jackson Guest. Feel that beat drop, chest pump, don't stop, just Jackson Guest. Here comes fire, here comes heat, no retreat, on this beat, just Jackson Guest. Boom, shakalaka, boom, 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 boom.
Mind flip, spine stiff, word cut, gift shift. Talk slick, move quick, clock tick, don't blink.
Just Jackson Guest. Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom. Just Jackson Guest. Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom.
More love with backbone, more safety, full grown, more respect when it's earned, more clients return, more stacks, more flow, more peace that we grow, more health in the grind, more wealth in the mind, more cheers from the crowd, more strong women loud, more worth that you feel, more power made real.
Yeah, just Jackson Guest. Here comes fire, here comes heat, no retreat, on this beat, just Jackson Guest. Just Jackson Guest. Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom.
Boom shakalaka, boom. Hey, boom, boom. Boom shakalaka, boom. Hey, boom, boom. Boom shakalaka, boom. Boom shakalaka, boom. Hey, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom. Hey, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom. Boom shakalaka, boom. Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom. Hey, boom shakalaka, boom.
Kick bounce, hi-hat, run, shoulders roll, sun up, baseline, waistline, heat rise, no decline. Just Jackson Guest. Boom shakalaka, boom, 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 boom. More love with backbone, more sun, boom, boom. When the go, when the sun, no run, with the turn, more stacks, more flow, more blast in the turn, more just no pin, more shit. More stacks in the crowd, more strong, more loud, more worth that you feel, more power may breathe.
Yeah, more drive, no style, more rise, stand tall, more force, no fear, more shit this year, yeah.
Just Jackson Guest.
Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka.
We did it. Oh my gosh, isn't that just the coolest song in the video and everything and all the things? Poor William Rochelle, you can call him Bill. He has nightmares about my face because he spent so much time working on that intro. And tonight he finished the most amazing outro in the world. Y'all got to stay. If you can't stay all the time, you got to go watch the outro tomorrow on replay or whenever you can get to it, because oh my gosh, he made me look so amazing. So amazing. I love it. Hi, everybody. If this is your first time, if you are catching us on replay, if you've watched it 5 million times, I am Jackie. I am Just Jackson Guest. And tonight it's actually guest. We had a 3-minute change right before the start of the show. And Robert, our second guest of the night, is just knee deep in 5 million things at his job. And he is in the middle of an audit and he thought he could swing it and it just isn't going to work. So you will get to see him later. That means you get to meet my friend Jerry for a little bit longer. But if you don't know, I like to talk a little bit. There are so many updates I want to throw at you guys. First of all, thank you for being here. We've already got some great people in the house. I know we just had the Workplace Wellness Hour with Felipe and Sumana and Ashley. So I don't know if the show's still wrapping up over there or not, but you guys made it here and I'm so thankful. You are going to be amazed by Jerry. Seriously, I read his chapter just this morning. I swore I read it before, but there's no way I did. And I'm like, how am I going to fit him in 22 minutes? And boom, sometimes the universe works in interesting ways. You're going to love him. We're going to have a great time. Guys, thank you for being here. My Kinga's in the house. Jairus is in the house. Marsha's in the house. We've got Nick. We got Christy and Bill. Jimmy Kimmel. Pretty cool, huh? Bill Rochelle, of course, is in the house. And we've got Jane from California. Leslie Flowers is here. Always great to see her. And I got to highlight this beautiful woman. Christy D. Williams. If you don't know her, you are seriously missing out. It is her birthday today, and she's celebrating it with us. Y'all give her a shout out. She cares about so many people. She's always out there hyping us up. We deserve to hype. If I had a beautiful singing voice, my dear, I would be singing right now to you, but y'all would just turn away. You'd log off, and you wouldn't be able to hear Jerry in a minute because my sound would probably break your earballs. So thank you guys for being here, and wish Christy a happy birthday because she deserves it so very much. I love her to pieces. Kenny, thank you so much for being here, and as always for sending me my reminder of my show, and hopefully you send them out to other people because you're amazing and wonderful, and I just love you to death too. Leanna, thank you so much for being here. Oh gosh, David Causey, as almost always, I think I can count it on maybe 1-2 fingers when he wasn't front row, first seat in the house for the show. Thank you, my friend, for being here. So guess what? This is the last Monday of March. We are the end of quarter one if you're a quarter person, or the end of a month if you're just a month person. We are about to start the month of April. Whew. Which means the end of March means the end of Women's History Month. If you did not learn one amazing thing or 5 million amazing things about what women have done to make this world a better place, go back and do some reading, do some research. It's amazing. I think every single day we should be celebrating every single human in the world and being caring and wonderful and nice, and it'd be wonderful to have that. But unfortunately, there's too much marginalization. There's too much putting people down and trying to act like certain voices aren't important or they're not good enough because of gender, because of race, because of age, and all the things. So we do have to celebrate. We have to highlight different things like that. So April starts a very special month as well. It is Second Chance Month. So those of you that know me, that I work in the correctional world, I work in reentry spaces, restorative justice spaces, family reunification spaces. Second Chance is a very big deal for very many people, many families across the country, and it's a good reminder that there's other programming and other needs that could be really helpful to other people. So super excited about that. Today is Bipolar Awareness Day. I just realized that. So I know we have many friends that have different diagnoses themselves, and they deserve to have more people educated about what is going on in their body or their mind, no matter what that thing is. Okay. And so I definitely want to give a shout out to some people on that. I had the absolute pleasure of being on Omar's Do We Really Know Them show yesterday. He did a great job trying to keep up with me because, I talk pretty fast, and he did too. But we shared a lot of stuff about Jackie in a very short amount of time. If you didn't get to watch it yesterday, check me out on the replay. You might learn a couple things that are kind of new to you, or ways that maybe you haven't thought about some of the things that we do, because I believe in getting to know people authentically. When we know each other authentically, we get to understand, maybe I could align with them. Maybe I want to buy their book. Maybe I want to partner with them. Maybe I want to enroll in one of their workshops, or maybe I want to buy their services, or maybe I want to hire them. You never know. So getting to know good people is an amazing thing. And sometimes we just don't take the time to do that. We don't always want to get out of our boxes. And that's really tricky, because then we're stuck there. And that's never fun. Little funny story. If you watched the news at all today, maybe late last night, but probably today, and you saw a trending topic about a woman in handcuffs that was able to shimmy out the back of a police cruiser window that was only rolled down about this big, and she did not fall on her face. She landed on her feet and ran away from the cops, because the cops didn't even realize she shimmied out the window because they were busy talking to another person. That was my town. That we made the big town. We were all over everything today. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just put woman in handcuffs shimmying out police car, and it's the first couple of stories that pop up. Yep, they haven't found her. Some people said they were found her, then they didn't. She broke into a house, she ran away. It's been interesting, but it's made our community kind of like polar opposites, because sometimes they think like the person that caught it on live video should have alerted the police, and other people are like, no, because that's interference in a court work. In the courts, the police have already told him not to interfere, because he's actually like a local journalist. It's called the Black Weekly, and he captured it live as she's literally climbing out of the back of the window and running away from our local law enforcement. Now, I love me some law enforcement, but I also love a couple laughs now and then, because this world is heavy. And as you guys know, if we just stay in that doom and gloom, it gets to be an icky, sad, scary, lonely, pretty bitter place. And that's where our guest comes in, because Jerry Ryan, you got to know him. He is not just going to motivate you and uplift you. He's also not going to let you get away with just being crabby and cranky and down on your luck and all that kind of stuff. He is a bright light in so many areas, but he's also smart as frick. And I got to tell you, so I've had this book, We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses. This was from Nick and her Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing Company. And of course, I support Nick all the time when she does her books because, well, she's Nick and I love her. And we've known each other for a very long time. But also this guy right down here, Jeff Van Dyke, he's one of my in real life personal friends. So he was in the book. So of course I'm like, okay, I got to get the book too. Well, the way my brain works is sometimes I get a little distracted and I just been walking away from books pretty much since my son had his accident last August. I haven't finished an entire book, whether it's even just a anthology where it only takes you a few minutes to read a chapter and you can come back and pick it up. I just haven't. So this morning I read Jerry's chapter. Now Jerry's right there. You're going to see him live and in person. I swore I read his chapter and I didn't. And I read it this morning. Mind blown. Oh, are you guys ready to meet him? Because he's pretty amazing. I told him there was never going to be a way that I could fit in all the information I want with him in such a short time. So Robert had to do his work. So now you get more of Jerry. Are you ready for him? I'm ready for him. Are you ready, Jerry? Because here you come. Hello, friend.
Doing great. Doing great.
So you are one of probably, oh gosh, maybe people that I can count on one hand that have been the solo guest with me. Usually there's always two. So we get to take a little bit of time. We're going to start with those questions that I always ask everybody. And then you get to deep dive, Jerry, because I don't have to cut you off as quick as I usually have to cut people off.
Well, that'll be good. Kind of a synchronicity of the universe happening there.
You know, isn't it wild how sometimes it's meant to be, you know, very wild.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you're here, Jerry. Tell us, as we start off all the time, and again, Just Jackson Guesses every single Monday night, it's 9 p.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time. For Jerry, it's just what, 6 p.m. for you because you're on the West Coast? Yeah. So our first question, every guest, when it's their first time on stage, I ask them the first question is, share 2 things that you are proud of yourself for, Jerry.
Well, you know, I looked through my LinkedIn CV and I thought, I can't just pick 2 things off of that. So I thought the biggest thing that I'm proud of is my family, not just the family that I have produced, but my family of origin. My dad worked in the federal government and he was a computer guy back when computers would fill an airplane. So we moved a lot. Basically, I think I moved something like 36 times in 18 years. I went to 11 different schools in 12 years before graduating high school. And so it was always a new kid, but what family did was I got 3 brothers. So we were always there for each other, no matter where we were living, whether it was East Coast, West Coast, down South, wherever, family was always there. And then I got married. And my wife and I will have been married 50 years this New Year's Eve. We had 2 boys who were both successful entrepreneurs. We have a total of 7 grandkids and an 8th one on the way. And I think the biggest thing, the family's been there for me for everything, including helping me through a couple of major traumatic things that happened to me. I've had 2 major head injuries. The first one, they gave me a 5% chance to live. And the second one, I was in a coma for 3 months. The second one also broke my neck, so I'm quadriplegic too. And my family was there for the whole thing. They helped me get back my mental health stuff after the first brain injury. And the car wreck that did this to me, both my sons were in there. And they saved my life, basically. They pulled me out, paralyzed. They pulled me out of the car because it was starting to burn. And then my wife saved my life in the ER because I was so messed up, the doctors in the first 10 minutes, they took her out of the ER over to the little room. and said, "Would you please sign this DNR? He's not going to make it." And DNRs do not resuscitate. Um, and she she went off on him and just told him, "You don't know who the hell you're messing with. Go in there and do your damn job." And ta-da, I'm here. So my family is like one of the two biggest things. And then there's the family like you folks that I have put together just through relationships. And I guess the second thing that I'm most proud of is all the work I've done helping people my whole life. I started out at 15 working in the University of Kentucky emergency room as an aide, and I just followed medical and mental health stuff for my whole life. I went back to school and became a counselor at age 50 something, after having the rollover car accident. And so it's just been great. And the books that I've written to help the people with. So that's my two things, is all the work I've done and my family.
And you say it so kind of like, yeah, after 2 traumatic brain injuries and this and that, guys, you got to read his story. Like, he just kind of, oh my gosh, like Jerry. So I read a lot, and I have been reading a lot since I was probably about 6, 7. And I'm not talking just little tiny kid books. I mean, my mom gave me The Exodus and Gone with the Wind when I was still, I think, in elementary school, maybe early middle school. Like, I read novels, and I was telling Jerry, I said, it's been about 9 months and I just have not been able to pick up a full book and read it. And I read his chapter this morning, and I literally did not want to put it down. I felt like I was in the ER with your wife telling those doctors, you're not going to have me sign that DNR. I felt like I was in the car when your kids were pulling you out of it. It's like, amazing that you recognize them and that you use them and the work you do. Again, he kind of downplayed it a little bit. He's like, yeah, I went to be a counselor in my 50s. Guys, I'm in my 50s and I am burnout as frickin' this people. I can't imagine starting over. But no, actually, I'm not, because I don't do therapy. I would be if I was doing therapy this whole time. And the fact that he went back to do that is just amazing. I love it. It makes my heart so happy, Jerry. So even though, if you look at his book, if you look at his resume, if you sit and listen to him for a few more minutes, even by the time the show is done, you're going to hear 5 million accomplishments that this man has had, all very worthy, all amazing. But Jerry, we've got to keep learning and growing. If we stop, that brain of ours does turn to mush and we're done, and we just don't think we deserve to keep on going. So will you share something you're still growing in or learning about yourself in?
Well, I kind of think that I'm letting go of ego. I'm 69 years old. So it's kind of like, this is a time for transitioning between achieving things and contributing things. It's kind of that transition. If anybody's followed me on LinkedIn for a while, my profile used to have all these initials behind it: MS, CRC, NCC, blah, 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 LMNOP. I mean, it was like so much. Well, I took all that off like 6 months ago, because it's like, well, I don't need that. I need to let go of that ego part. And I think I'm coming like a digital age tribal elder. That's kind of what I feel like. And I looked up some anthropology stuff about what tribal elders do, which made me think about it that way. They reduce the fear in the tribe. That's a big thing they do. They do the stories and keep people's memory of what's happening, and they guide the younger generation. And so I'm thinking that the books that I do and the blogs that I write and all that kind of stuff, all are kind of like being a digital elder.
I love that kind of take on it, because some people, as we age, we don't even want to think of ourselves as possibly being the elder, wiser one. We still kind of feel young at heart and all the things. Mm-hmm. But then you threw that digital in there, and how fitting is that for what we are seeing and what is going on with all of this. So thank you for thinking of that. I do want to, before we talk about the fun travel thing, I do want to throw up your book that you wrote specifically to help people that are overcoming anxiety or that they are in a stressed or PTSD lifestyle right now. Because I loved your chapter so much this morning. Like, I didn't even send you that message before I already ordered your book, because I'm like, I need that. So does everybody else. And if you wrote it even a quarter of as good as you wrote that chapter in there, it's going to take me like 2 minutes to read this. So I'm super excited about this. And you're talking about being a digital elder, but just having your words down in book form, you've got legacy right there. You have got so much legacy. And for your boys to know, I can imagine it was very emotional when and if they've read them. I know some of my family has not read things I've written, but I can only imagine that it brought them right back to that day as well.
Yeah, and it's not always a good thing for them to have that memory.
And I'm going to acknowledge, and it's coming close to your anniversary as well for the accident, because you alluded it to in the book. So, and you were still willing to come live with me when you knew I was going to ask you all kinds of personal questions too, right?
Oh, yeah, it's fine with me, because I figure if people don't ask questions, how are they going to find out it? I mean, it's just how it is. I've been, since that car accident, anytime nursing staff or anybody like that wants to do a lesson for new nurses or CNAs, I'm like, yeah, I'll be your crash test dummy. I don't care. I mean, it's better. It's better to have people learn than just wing it.
That is so cool. I love that so much. So let's talk a little bit of fun, Jerry. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, no matter about any of the family obligations, no matter any of the stuff going on, no matter the weather, no matter the time frame, no matter the money, where would you want to go right now?
I think I would want to go to outer space in one of those, you're up there for 90 minutes and come back down. Well, because I'd want to feel that. I'd love to experience how that feels. And just to know that there ain't a whole lot of people on the planet who have done that. So it'd be another one of those outlier things that I kind of do. So yeah, I just want to go to space. I'm just kind of, I mean, Captain Kirk went to space. So
and he got a whole show out of it.
Yeah. Well, and he was like 90 something when he went up recently and actually went to space.
That is true. Oh gosh, I didn't even think of it that way. I thought you were just making kind of a funny. So Jerry, I have had a lot of people answer that question. A whole bunch of people. Nobody has ever said that they wanted to travel to space before. You are the first that has given that answer. We've had a lot that want to go to Thailand. We have a lot that want to go to Italy. We get a couple other places pop up like more often than other ones. But you are my first out of space. I love that. Me, I would be happy to wave at you from the earth down here, or from an airplane. I can watch you halfway up or something. But yeah, you can just tell me all about it afterwards. That's so great.
Yeah.
So
well, I figure it's only 90 minutes. It'd only be 90 minutes. I could handle it.
You could probably get some pretty doggone good views in 90 minutes too. That would be amazing. I think that would be the coolest thing to see, like, were the images we were given as kids the same that we see in like social media and like in news stories now compared to what it really is. That would be amazing. I love that. Well, Jerry, I would need to, if it was not for Robert, you would have about 8 minutes or so to say whatever you want. Now you've got a little bit more time. So if you just joined us, Robert, our second guest of the night, is swamped in an audit. He just got a management position in the group home that he works in, and thought there would be enough time to step away from his desk. And unfortunately, he is swamped. He is going to reschedule and be with us soon. His story is incredible as well, so I don't want you to miss out on him. But tonight we're going to just take Jerry and deep dive with him. We're going to talk about some of his current work, something that was just celebrated over the weekend that was super special, and a few other things he wants to take us into. So I am going to have his screen go a little bit bigger, and I will be monitoring the chat. So if you guys have questions for Jerry, I will pop them up. Jerry, if you are you able to see when I pull one of the comments up on the screen very well, or is it too small for you?
No, I can see it fine.
So when I pop them up, that's up to you if you want to stop your train of thought and answer it, or if you want to come back to it. You do whatever works for you, okay?
Okay, that's cool.
All righty. It's all you, my friend.
Well, it's all me. Okay, well, one of the big things um, that I like to let people know is uh, trying to live every day of your life by what I call laws, LAWS. And that's learn something, apply something, write it down, and share it, LAWS. And that's kind of what I've been doing for forever, it seems like. Um, and that's why I've got these books out there. A lot of it has to do with like the first book that Jackie showed, the Living Less Stress book. That's kind of about well, basically, it's all about neurochemistry. And I had a private practice for over a decade, and I dealt with people who had PTSD and anxiety. And I'm talking about people who had been attacked, people who had been in fires, car accidents, guys who had been in Fallujah, just all kinds of really traumatic stuff. And what I found is by working with mindfulness and um, acceptance and commitment theory, I put together a program where it changed their neurochemistry. Because a lot of what's going on with people who have anxiety and depression and all these things is the neurochemicals aren't right. And instead of taking pills, I'm a huge natural health guy. Um, in fact, when I first got hurt and became quadriplegic, the doctors put me on 15 meds that I would have to take at 9, 1, 5, and 9 every day for the rest of my life, according to them. That's the according to them part. Um, Within a year and a half, I was off of all of them because I read in their depositions for a legal suit that had to do with the car accident that the pills would kill me 10 to 15 years before the quadriplegia was. And I'm like, okay, well, that, thank you for letting me know that before you put them on me. So I'm huge about doing things naturally. And this is why I used to tell all of my clients when I was doing the counseling that they need to change their diet, and I'd give them some ideas. What I found, like for depression, is fish and nuts, omega threes, basically, is what was needed. B vitamins, and then I thought, oh well, that carries over in anxiety too. So it's kind of been my focus is the whole neurochemistry, and it's understandable because I've had two brain injuries. Uh, So the first brain injury happened to me back in 1987. I was working in an operating room on the trauma and transplant team, and it was a dead night pretty much. I was doing supplies, and somebody snuck into the OR and hit me in the head with an O2 tank or something. Broke my skull up and around here, put me in a coma for 3 days. That's the one that gave me a 5% chance to live. Um, And it took me about a year and a half to come back from that. I couldn't remember things very well. I lost my sense of smell and taste. Uh, it was just a mess. And I couldn't, nobody could come up behind me where they risked getting put in the hospital because I'd taken martial arts most of my life. And so I was also a bodybuilder. So I was a big, scary, potentially lethal guy. Um, and that's kind of what got me into this whole neuroscience thing is how do I control this? Because it was a massive disruption of my neurochemistry. Um, and then after that, uh, I started going looking at all the natural health stuff, and it just helped me completely get away from all of the uh, medical field stuff, which I'd worked in my whole life. And it's different when you're on the receiving end. You know, when I was on the giving end, working in the ER, working in the OR, working in pharmacies, I did all that stuff. And I thought, wow, I'm really helping people. And then when I got on the receiving end, I thought, no, particularly after seeing that those pills would kill me before the quadriplegia would. It's just, it was an interesting transition, I guess, to come through that. And then 7 years later, I got in this rollover car accident that gave me another head injury. The first head injury messed up this side, like I said. all your word finding skills and stuff are there. The second one broke my neck, pulverized my seventh vertebrae into powder, uh, took my head back and down and made a sharp S curve out of my spine. The doctors say that they only see an injury like mine once every 4 or 5 years, and it's during an autopsy. So once again, ta-da, I made it. Um, and it's just it still amazes me um, that I've had these incidents and come back from them. Not only did my family help, but it's just I think the mindset part uh, of just not giving up because they the doctors certainly wanted to check me out. They wanted me to go both times. Me 5% chance to live, and the second time I was in and out of a coma for 3 months. Um, yeah, and in fact, the I got overdosed on morphine while I was in the ICU. So I've been dead a couple of times and come back. Uh, Not all at my fault either. Uh, um, so then I started back to school after all of that. Um, I actually worked for a couple of nonprofits for a while. I'm a veteran, so I qualified to be in the Paralyzed Veterans of America. And I started working at our local state chapter and moved up from a board member to the hospital liaison to the vice president to the president. And so we were going to Washington, D.C., talking with the Senate, talking with congressmen, and also on the local level for the state for things for people with disabilities over and beyond just paralysis. And then I went back to school uh, and got a degree in counseling. Uh, and then I ran my own place for like 10 years. I tried working at the local community college in their disability resource center, but unfortunately, uh, they didn't like the fact that I was spending money, to give people the resources that they needed. They didn't like the fact that we needed extra interpreters, that blah, 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 blah. So when the job actually became open, I was just kind of shoved to the side. And that was another realization. I went, okay, well, if I can't do it in the public system, I'm going to start my own office, which I did, and I ran for about 10 years. And basically, I retired about 2 years ago and started doing the books. And now I'm working on, with Nick, I was one of the 16 people in the We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses book. And more recently, through the Outlier Project, I met a guy named Chase It For You. And this guy was doing amazing stuff for poverty and food insufficiency, homelessness, drug addiction, all these things in a project called Transformation Kitchen. And I had been working on I'd been working on a cookbook since I'd gone to school. I thought, okay, I see all these different things that, and actually part of the food items are in Living Less Stressed. And there's a section there. That's the one, Transformation Kitchen, that we have put together. I was kind of the editor on this, putting together all these different recipes and putting on icons for this. This fixes your dopamine. This fixes your serotonin. This gives you more omega-3s. This takes care of your oxytocin, your bonding chemical. So this is kind of like, I feel like these are my legacy pieces and part of being what I'm calling a digital age tribal elder, because this is kind of what I can still do, is put it out there in the world. Come on, shows like this, spread this information. And by doing this, it fits those things I was talking about earlier that the anthropologists say about tribal elders, about the fear, calming the fear in the community. My Living Less Stress book does that. The storytelling, that's part of Living Less Stress, and it's also part of We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnosis. And the guiding of the future generations couldn't ask for more than this transformation kitchen book, because that's kind of where a lot of Chasen stuff is targeted, is at younger people. And knowing that nowadays the kids are just overwhelmed with anxiety, it's like, well, let's show them that you really are what you eat, and if you eat right, your brain chemistry changes, your feelings change, your behavior changes.
You know,
So
I appreciate so much you saying that because, along with reading as a kid, I developed weight issues as a very young kid. One thing I don't know if you know about me, Jerry, is my dad was Vietnam vet, in the
mhm,
Navy, and he absolutely came home with PTSD. Back then, we didn't really know a name for it. It wasn't really a thing. All we knew is that if so, my dad also, I was in first grade and my dad got physically hurt on the job, so he could no longer physically work. So he was there at home with us, getting us ready in the morning. And the only thing I knew about PTSD was you did not wake dad up by standing by the bed. You had to holler at him from the doorway if he overslept. It doesn't matter if you're running late. It doesn't matter if he doesn't hear you right away. You do not stand by the bed. And that to me was that was intense because I mean that was my hero, and there were a few times I would forget, of course. I mean, he never touched me or anything, but it was enough to see his physical body just jolt and have to come up out of the bed to try to protect himself when his physical body was so broken as well. He ended up having like 4 back surgeries, and he was shoved on all those kind of medications, and it was just very rough for him. And to think of, I wish I would have known about your stuff back then. I wish he would have known. I wish he would have had somebody rooting him on like you did. He did a lot of great stuff, but he did it in so much physical and mental pain that he was from that generation. You didn't talk about it. You just dealt with it. And if anybody needed something, you
right.
still were there for them. And that intensified that all the things. And so when I hear you talk about this, it gives me hope. It also gives me hope when you talk about the Transformation Kitchen cookbook, because I ordered it and I'm like, never in my life have I bought a cookbook, because this girl don't cook. You don't want me to cook. And the more ingredients or the more steps on a recipe, the more I'm going to just throw it out the window and never even look at it and go through the drive-through, which is not good either. But we were talking backstage and I didn't realize, I knew you were part of the project. I knew you were behind the scenes. I knew you were doing things. I didn't realize it was part of your Stressipy concept of bringing food into the stress world that has a part in the Transformation Cookbook. So I'm so excited I actually get to read a cookbook and not just look at the pictures and wish I knew how to cook.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun putting that together. There were so many contributors from so many different industries too, and from different parts of the world. So, and I believe that as Chasen moves Transformation Kitchen forward, we will be doing additional cookbooks that are more focused on what country the Transformation Kitchen is opening
I
in.
love that. That does not surprise me at all. And I think what a better way to bring the globe right to you. So maybe you can't get to one of the countries that has one of his kitchens, but you can read the recipes, you can feel it in the pictures. Oh, I love that so much. So David Causey put this question out, and I feel bad because we kept getting so excited about other things. He wanted to know the perspective you realized after your accident. You've touched on it a little bit with some stuff, but is there anything further you want to share with him?
Um, I guess the biggest thing is just not giving up. You can't give up, period. Because I've had plenty of opportunities over the last, I've been paralyzed for 32 years. I have survived so many different infections, and I've survived things that kill people. Basically, I've survived it multiple times. So I guess my big thing is mindset. Mindset is what I got, and I was even doing that before, though, Jackie. I was a big follower of people like Wayne Dyer and Tony Robbins and all those kind of people that were all about thinking right and doing the right thing. So my brain was kind of there. And actually, after the first head injury, it kind of all came to the forefront. Basically, that it is really, I went to a head injury retraining clinic, which was part of learning about the neuroscience and the chemicals and all that. So it was more, I guess my slanted perspective was um, really, it's just not giving up and just continuing to try, even
Well,
though I
you were
can't
doing like
physically do stuff, you know?
yeah, but you're doing stuff. You are so physically doing
Oh, yeah.
stuff. You were doing mindfulness activities way before it became a buzzword, and now everybody's talking about it, correct? What got you into that?
Exactly.
Was it one of the books you were reading, or how did you connect that with your specific growth?
Well, actually, I was, since high school, I was into martial arts and yoga and that kind of stuff. So the whole Eastern philosophy stuff of life
Okay,
it was already up here, and
that's
I was kind of living that way anyway. Um, I don't know, and that's kind of what actually started. My brain was already there, and I already been training myself to continue going, regardless of the pain, regardless of how damn hard it is, whatever.
yeah.
It all happens for a purpose. That was the other thing. It's I'm a believer in that. Everything happens for a reason. A lot
Mhm.
of people go, that's bullshit. And I'm like, well, no. Everything I've ever learned in my life has led me to be okay with where I am right now. So you can't tell me that things don't happen for a
So
reason.
again, Jerry is right here. He is one of 16 beautiful humans that wrote in this book. Now, Nick, I love her. I always promote her stuff, but this book has been out for over a year now, right? Give or take a little bit. Um, it's not too late to go and buy the book. You don't have to just buy a book when it first comes out, when they do the book launch. Guys, there are so many incredible stories in here, but Jerry's is one that I had never seen your writing style other than what you post sometimes on social media. And usually there's always some kind of a really cute, funny graphic, and you have a couple words about it. So it's never been about something so powerful. And I was just captivated by the way you wrote. After we answer Nicole's question, are you comfortable with sharing about your new books that are coming out?
Sure.
Okay.
Um,
So Nick is
answer
talking
Nick's
about,
question.
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Well, answer Nick's question is a lot of it is because of the martial arts and because of the bodybuilding is how I was able to continue to go. It was the dedication to a goal, I guess. And my goal was, if you read in the book, I made a promise to my dad when I was laying in the rehab hospital, and I'm probably going to cry right
Yes.
now. But
Take your time.
my dad was crying, and he said, "I never saw your life like this." When I'm laying there paralyzed, the halo and all that. And I told him that, well, if I have to be like this, I'm going to be the best ever. So that's kind of what 32 years of my life has been trying to live up to what I told my dad.
There is not a doubt in my mind that you superseded his goals for you maybe the first 30 days. Because 32 years, Jerry, I mean, holy shit. The things you've accomplished, and you were fighting diseases that could have taken you out so quickly. Sometimes they take somebody out that doesn't have some of the other past injuries and illnesses that you have had. And you just kind of keep coming back. And then you're like, well, now I'll go to college again. And now I'll write another book. And now I'll do this. So it's almost like everything that would set a human back and basically knock them down and just be like, yep, this is my life. This is all I'm doing. Boom. You just knock out a whole nother career or a whole nother lifestyle.
Well, I keep threatening to get another tattoo and this one of the Energizer Rabbit. I keep going and going and going.
Some people probably don't remember that bunny, right? We do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you've got a whole new genre coming out, not the
Yeah.
lesson books, the kitchen book, all the cool things you want to share, and that'll kind of let people realize just how much you can change your identity. And again, I want to honor those emotions that you're sharing with us, Jerry, because I
It's
felt
fine.
like I was there. I felt like I was there when your dad said that to you. And there's so many dads that wouldn't have showed their emotions to you. They would have just either, I know a lot of dads, mostly some moms, that have deserted their children when they've had a physical illness, or even when they were born with something that wasn't expected. And the fact that
Yeah.
not only did he stay there, but he knew the words you needed to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really, like, again, it goes back to I'm proud of my family.
You are proud of your family
Yeah.
and that family
So,
origin you were talking about.
yeah, they were there. They actually came down from Oregon to New Mexico in their motorhome and sat out there for 2 months while I was in the hospital. So yeah. And you were asking me about my new genre of book.
Yeah. Totally
So,
changing the subject on you.
yeah, and that's fine too. I'm adaptable, obviously. Now I'm working on doing kids' books that are scary, because I think it's another way to show people that you can be scared, but you can live through it, and you're better on the other side of fear. So by writing scary books for fear and just scaring the kids, and they're safe because it's in a book, and then they get to the end, and I use humor in the books too, you know, just to break the tension a little bit. So I'm writing I'm writing a trilogy right now. The first one is out to several agents. It's called Stay Out of the Attic. And it's this 12-year-old kid who comes to visit his grandma. They go upstairs and he finds this magic mirror in the attic. And he steps into the mirror and his whole life changes. He finds out that he's in a family of wizards, warlocks, and witches. And he had no clue. And then the second book that I'm now working on, about 10,000 words into that one, is his whole family is in a battle against genies and fairies for world domination, kind of a thing. And it's like it's centuries old battle that's been going on. So that's kind of what I'm working on now, is kind of like the old Goosebumps books,
I love
basically.
that. How does it feel to write a book that is a little bit of like, that's pretty action oriented compared to the books that were more, focused on your life and the reality based and everything. What is that experience as a writer?
I just love it because it's like I'm watching a movie in my head and I just get to write it down. That's what I like about it. It's I can see all the scenes, I can see where it's supposed to go. I always start out with an outline so I know where I'm headed with the thing. And it's just fun. It's more fun than writing nonfiction. Nonfiction can be tedious, but this stuff is it's just, I can't say it any other way. It's a lot of fun. Just seeing the movie of these kids and dreaming up things to get them into scary situations. Like trapped in a cave or just stuff like that.
And the fact you want to do it as a trilogy, like I know there's other different books that are trilogies or different multi-layered books, but anytime I hear the word trilogy, I go back to thinking of Nick being the only person I know of that launched a trilogy of 3 anthologies at the exact same time. And it's like, and I was lucky enough to be in one of those with some amazing humans in all 3 of the different books. And it's like, I just think about like how your lives have connected and how all of us kind of interweave, even though we're not exactly there at the same place. And it's like, you and I have the same publisher, I'm going to be getting my book in the mail any day now that you had a hand in. And to think about just how much closer this world is together when we talk to other humans, when we read each other's words, when we support each other, when we're willing to get to know each other, even coming to a live show like this. I mean, Mondays is filled with different live events, and people can pick and choose to go to all of them, one of them, none of them. And people are showing up for you, Jerry, and they're learning about you, and they're hearing so much about you that if they had not read the chapter, they probably thought you were a great guy. And yeah, you're doing some support with the cookbook, but they don't have a clue of all the things you have conquered and you're still conquering. So Jane wants to know, she does this question a lot to people, so it kind of throws you off a minute. What would you tell 17-year-old Jerry today?
Wow, that is a great question.
Mm-hmm. She's a great human. If you don't know her, she's amazing.
What would I tell myself? Not to worry about stuff, basically. Regardless of what it is, not to worry about stuff, because it's all going to work out in the end.
That's huge. That's huge. Nick loves how diverse your writing is. And I think that's one thing that some authors don't even realize they can adapt and change. But guess what? Some humans don't realize we can adapt and change. Sometimes we think we got to be in the same career the entire rest of our life, even if we don't like it, even if it's exhausting, it doesn't light us up. Yeah. Some people think that what their world is right now today is going to be there for the rest of their lives. And whether that's a good thing or a negative thing. And Jerry, you are a living, breathing example of how quick life can change. And then you think you know what's going to happen, and you think the worst has happened, and boom, hey, let's bring this on too. Oh my gosh, you're getting so much love in the comments, Jerry. I just love it. It's amazing.
Oh, good.
Hugs for you. People are just really supportive, saying how amazing you are. It's just wonderful. Oh, Chasen, of course.
I don't have a blush filter. Sorry.
That's okay. She said your soul is so beautiful, and she aspires to have a fraction of. I told you she was amazing. She's the one that just asked you that question about the 17-year-old. I love that so much. Let's see what Bill says. Thank you for sharing your story of resilience. Isn't that just? I mean, it's something wild. Wheelchairs don't stop you; they just create new options and pivots. I love that. David, you are a special person. I appreciate you sharing that as well. I think one of the things that one of my best friend, actually, she was in the comments earlier. Her husband is in an electric chair as well. And that was my first person that close to my life that had any kind of an aid, other than sometimes my dad would use a cane. He refused to use a walker. He definitely should have been in a chair multiple times. The only time he would use a chair is if he was going into the hospital or coming out of the hospital, because then most of the time he went by ambulance. There was a lot of ambulance rides for him. But if we would have to take him, or if he'd get transferred from the doctor or the VA there. And watching her lifestyle change as a young new bride in her 20s with a husband in a chair as well, really opened up just how not nice the world is to people that don't stand on two legs 24 hours a day and don't maybe have the ability to park from the other side of the parking lot or parking ramp or go upstairs. And the ideas that so many people still take it for granted is mind-blowing. In 32 years, have you seen a lot of progress, a lot of change, or is it still kind of the same old, same old?
I think it's better overall. As far as ADA kind of adaptations to buildings and stuff like that, I've had to make a stand in sometimes. Just because the law's been there over 30 years. It's like, okay, people, you need to get your act together. Yeah. Put a ramp on here, and I used to belong to the Chamber of Commerce here locally, and I would show up at our weekly things. If I couldn't get in, I couldn't get in, but it made a statement to the other business owners. It was like, and I would tell them, I said, folks in wheelchairs, we got wallets too. We got purses too. But if we can't get in your store, you're never going to see that money.
Oh, I love that. And you alluded to that in the book of one time. It was one of your first adventures out with the rehab group in a chair, and you were at the counter trying to buy some earrings, I'm assuming for your wife. Maybe they were yours. I'm not sure. Good for you. I love that. I thought, well, she did save your life, so you didn't get a DNR, but I thought, I love that so much. But they just kept waiting on people on either side of you.
Yeah. And then I used humor again. I had $20 bill in one hand, and earrings in the other hand. People coming up on either side getting waited on. Finally, I just held it up and said, "Am I too short?" And they were like, "Oh, we didn't know you were ready." It's like,
Sure.
okay, well,
So I've got nothing else to do other than be standing and sitting right in front of your face the whole time.
yeah, it was just there's stuff like that. And I guess it's gotten better overall, but that's part of also if people don't ask, they don't learn.
You're right. Well, Jerry, even though you got way more than 22 minutes, our time is about done and it went by way faster than I expected. Before you leave the stage, is there one thing you would like to leave all the listeners that have been listening live and the people that are going to come back and watch replay? Is there one thing that you'd like to leave everybody with so they get to know you a little more, so they have a little more hope like you have?
I guess the biggest thing is just never give up on anything that you really care about. And that includes your life.
That's huge. You are such a shining example of that. I mean, Jerry, the fact that so many people give up on things daily, literally daily, that could be so insignificant. They want to quit a job because of one thing that was said. They end a relationship because of one thing that was said. And things do get better. Things get better. And when you surround yourself with positive people like your family and all the people that were supportive, you talked about your customers kept coming to support you because of the relationships you had built with them before the accident.
Oh, yeah. I had people drive like 50, 60 miles to come visit me in the rehab hospital because that's when I was helping people with hearing aids.
Yeah.
And even that was life-changing for them. They would come in and tell me that how important that was for them.
And 32 years ago, we didn't have cell phones or GPS to show us how to get 56 miles away from where we were used to. Jerry, what a light you are. I am so excited to see what else you're going to conquer. I when I'm on a reading spree, sometimes I will read those fantasy type of the witches and the vampires and stuff, as long as they don't get to be the gory part or they don't get to be the part that I'm looking over my shoulder the whole time. So I am excited to see when you launch that. Make sure when you do, I'm assuming we'll hear about it in multiple places, but I'll make sure to share that out as well. Thank you so much. I did ask, I don't know if Jason is still there, but I did ask him to put the link in the comments to get the cookbook. Nick, I don't know if you fell asleep on us yet. I know you wrote something a minute ago, but she likes to zone out the second this is over. If not, I will go back and find the link myself and make sure that gets posted for anybody that wasn't able to go to Nick's show on Friday or to talk about the transformation.
You can go to jerryryanbooks.com. There's a link to all three of these books: Transformation Kitchen, Living Less Stressed, and the Diagnosis book.
I am so sorry I didn't list that. So I looked in the diagnoses book, and the other Living Less Stressed was not coming up as a website. So I should have asked you if you had a different one. So jerryryanbooks.com.
Yeah, jerryryanbooks.com.
Yay. Thank you so much for being a guest. I appreciate you so much, Jerry. I can't wait to talk to you more later, okay? Bye-bye.
Right, thanks, Jackie. Bye-bye.
Oh, he was great. He was so great. Oh, my gosh. Oh, guys, so many people joined in the comments. So many great support for him. He was amazing. Now, are you guys ready for some interesting news? Next week, the first Monday of April. It's my year anniversary of doing this show, guys. 52 weeks, done and over with. Done and over with. Can you believe it? Seriously, 52 weeks of Just Jackson Gas. of you being able to support amazing humans from all over the globe. I think there's like 7 different countries that have had people on stage, maybe 8, I can't remember. We have had people of just about every kind of background, people looking for jobs, people that are employers, people that are employees, people that have their own business, and people that have side businesses, people that have written books, people that publish books, people that want to be in books, people that are comedians, people that are doctors, people that are everything under the sun. So next week is a super special episode. There will be some mystery guests popping in to let you know what's been up in their life since they were a guest last with me. You will get to hear a couple new things that I'm launching as my Just Jax advising business. You will get to hear maybe a chance to win something for free from me. It is going to be fun, fun, fun. So any of the people that I have coming on stage are welcome to either be on camera or off camera. You're going to love hearing their updates. You're going to love hearing about them. You're going to love seeing some people that I highlight that are not going to be as actually on the stage with me or anything, but I'm super excited to still highlight some people. Guys, I'm so happy with this journey. I feel like people that I already thought I knew, I have got to know so much better. I get to know how to actually refer them or connect people with them, whether or not they do or not. At least they can say that they definitely have that opportunity. So I want to thank all of you. I've seen some congrats in the comments. I appreciate it. I cannot believe it's been a year. I have not missed a Monday, no matter what's been going on in my world. And boy, y'all know sometimes I have stuff going on. But it's about the camaraderie. It's about getting to highlight people. It's about reducing that stigma. It's about making diversity normal, bringing this globe back together. So thank you for everyone being here. Are you ready for my amazing new outro from the amazing William Rochelle? You can call him Bill. Make sure to check out his show every single Sunday at 4:00 too. He puts out almost every time a different song and video for himself, but I am keeping this outro forever. If you're able to watch the whole thing, I would love to see a vote on which dress you think I look best in. I got my favorite. I know which one I want, and I want to know what Bill's favorite is too. It's amazing. I am so excited for this. The outro is going to start playing, and then I will see you next week, which is April, which is Second Chance Month. It's Autism Awareness Month. It is Volunteer Appreciation Month, and so many other cool things in the month of April. We're going to celebrate with me for my 1 year next week. Please make sure to join us and be excited to see some of the pop-up people I'm going to bring on, okay? See you guys. Watch the outro. Here it comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose Just Jax and guests. Jackie Hallberg has left the building. The category is prison reform. Prison reform. The category is diversity. The category is women's rights. Thank you for joining. We appreciate your company. Thank you for coming through. Just Jax and guests. The category is equal rights. The category is inclusivity. The category is second chances. Thank you for coming through. We appreciate your company.